Okay, so I'm going to set up the SJK Roadhouse Tarp. You can see the tarp is built at an angle, and that narrow end is designed to go over, say, the top of the gate or the top of a lifted hatchback of an SUV, and then you stretch this out and put poles in various configuration and guide wires to the shape that you want. What I do is I anchor it with the 3 straps that you can use if you run it over the top of your vehicle, and I'm just going to anchor that I'm setting it up solo, so just so as I start to put poles and stuff, I don't got this thing just dragging all over the ground. Okay, this is kind of phase 2 of the setup. You see it's still connected to the back of the gator, and that's so as I start to put up the poles, it just didn't drag all over the ground. It gives it an anchor point. And then I like the setup where you do the poles on the outside corners. You got the little flanges. Now, when you're setting them solo, sometimes you got to trick these poles into what you're really trying to do. So what I did is I put a pole here in the center because it's anchored in the back, centered, and then secured that pole to this tree with 550 cord to stand the center pole, and then it kind of stands by itself. Then I went and put in the real pole that I wanted, the corner one, and anchor it off so it's kind of nice and dressed up. And then now I had this corner pole in the center, and they're self-standing. Then I take the center pole, after I've tricked this thing into staying up, then I take the center pole and move it. Center pole goes from there, and then I slide it out to this corner. And then this corner, I anchor down. And it's all about the angles, so you know if you can kind of get it kind of lined up with the other one. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just makes for a better shaped tent, bleed off water, that sort of thing. So into phase 2, and since I want to be able to drive my gator underneath it, now I'm going to go one at a time and put the rear poles in now that these are standing. Okay, so basically phase 3 is it's up. So again, I disconnected the 3 straps that are along the top that help you connect it to a roof rack or whatever, the lifted hatch of an SUV, and disconnected those, and then put up one of the telescoping poles at a time, anchored it, put a guide line out there, and then did the same thing. And as long as you keep tension when you're putting these poles up, the other ones don't fall, and it stays nice and tight. One little trick that I've learned with these telescopic poles is if you go around to all of them, you're going to see the centerpiece is the smallest. So I extend the upper piece all the way, and I extend the lower piece all the way, and then the play that I would adjust the pole up and down is work with just these 2 adjustments here to slide it up or down. So 4 telescoping poles on the corner, and then I took one of the Roadhouse Tarp poles that come with it. There's 4 7-foot poles. These are metal. They're super durable, but it's a fixed length, so they're either 7 feet or you don't use them. And so the only real application that I've used is to use it as a center pole. And then if we sort of step out, you see that I can drive the gator all the way in the back. And then if the weather was to kind of close in on me, I can lower the corners and drop this thing all the way down to just maybe a couple feet off the ground, one at a time, and then maybe sacrifice a center pole. But then if the gator is under here, then I'll attach that to the gator or right over the top, lower it down, kind of close in for the weather. So this is the final setup. It's a solo setup, 1-person setup of the SJK Roadhouse Tarp.